what now looks like a beautiful and peaceful little piece of nature with urban environments surrounding it. Hasn't always been that. Have you ever heard of the Desjardins Canal? I have found out so much about this piece of land. I can't call it anything but cursed. Within the first 2 flights of coming down the stairs to get to the canal, we're already seeing a piece of what remains from the tragedy that occurred here. It's pretty cool that that's still here. Then as soon as you reach the bottom of the stairs, you're greeted with this plaque right here. It says, on Thursday, March 12th, 1857, at 5:40 p.m., a tragic railroad disaster occurred at the Desjardins Canal. A Great Western Railway train traveling southbound from Toronto was due into Hamilton at 6:15 p.m. The train, traveling at a moderate speed, was heading towards a swing bridge. As the train reached the bridge, a broken axle caused it to derail. The weight of the cars crashed through the wooden trestle, plunging 60 feet into the frozen canal below. 90 passengers were aboard that day. 59 were killed, and for many years after this incident, ranked as the worst in the Canadian railway history. So the remains of the bridge that we passed up here, all the way around to this side where there's still remains over here. This is where the swing bridge was. And where we're standing right now is where nearly 60 people plunged to their death down here. Outside of the train accident, the canal has claimed many other souls through drowning. Only 7 years after the train accident, a whole family drowned. And many have perished here in crime-related incidents. It's so crazy how those foundations are still here, and it's just been all totally built over and built around. And people pass by here on the daily. I wonder how many of them even know about that train wreck, about all the lives lost that day. And that's only scratching the surface of these lands. Right over here behind the camera is Princess Point. Coot's Paradise was named after a British sportsman named Coot. But before British rule, it was lived on and used by the aboriginal people for hundreds of years. Then across the highway is Hamilton Cemetery, the oldest public cemetery in Ontario. There is also the site of the Burlington Heights Battleground, right beside the cemetery. Battle of Burlington Heights was fought on June 6, 1813, during the War of 1812. It was an engagement between the British and American forces. The American Army, under the command of General Henry Dearborn, had launched an offensive against the British in Upper Canada, what is now Ontario, and had occupied the town of York, which is now Toronto. The British, under the command of Major General Roger Hale Sheaffe, I think I'm saying that right, sought to repel the American advance and recapture York. The British forces included regular soldiers, militia, and First Nation warriors. They pursued the retreating American army from York towards Burlington Heights. The American troops, numbering around 3,500 men, were encamped on the heights, waiting for reinforcements. The British forces, numbering around 1,200 men, attacked the American position on the heights. However, they were unable to dislodge the American defenders, who were well entrenched and had artillery support. After several hours of fighting, the British forces were forced to withdraw. The battle was a defeat for the British, but it did succeed in delaying the American advance and preventing them from capturing more territory in Upper Canada. The battle was probably horrific enough in itself, but whenever I think of battles or wars in this time, I think of the hospitals. It's been said by many people that just as many people died in the field hospitals as in battle. The medical care was primitive to say the least, and really just relied on makeshift treatments like amputations and poultices. Between the battle and the field hospitals, I couldn't imagine stepping foot in this area at that time. As if all of that wasn't enough to call this cursed land, right beside the battlefield is Dundurn Castle. It was built by Sir Alan Napier McNab, who I'm not even going to get into right now because that is a character that deserves his own dark video in itself. It's an incredible story, so that's going to come in the future. I hope you all enjoyed this adventure, this explore into a very, very dark history. Like I said, I call it cursed land. I've never heard anybody else refer to it as that. But there's been enough tragedy, enough death, everything else for me to call it that. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments if you agree or disagree. And as always, I'll see you on the next adventure.